Hi, my name is Katrin, and I'm a 39-year-old woman living in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California. I'm here to talk about my journey with breast cancer. Today is March 12th, 2020, and tomorrow I get my drains out, and if you know anything about breast cancer, you know what that means, and I'll talk about that more in a couple minutes. I'm sitting here at the beach, one of my favorite places in the Santa Cruz area, just taking in the sunset, and this has been one of my main places of refuge during this whole process. So I just want to talk a little bit about the journey and how it's been so far. It all really started back in December. I noticed a lump in my left breast, and I'd had fibroadenomas for years that hadn't changed, and I'd monitored and just kind of kept an eye on. And I knew how they felt and where they were, and they'd been ultrasounded and mammogrammed, and nothing was of concern. And about mid-December, I noticed there was a harder mass that felt different, and that definitely got my attention. So I made a doctor's appointment, went in, and had it looked at, biopsied, and on February 3rd, 2020, I got the phone call that I had invasive ductal carcinoma, and it had spread to 3 of my lymph nodes as well on my left armpit, my left side. And when you get that news, it's really surreal. You know cancer sucks just from knowing people in your life who've had it, right? I mean, everybody knows it sucks, but you don't really know until it happens to you, and then it really was a shocker. I'm 39, I'm young-ish at least, really healthy. I mountain bike almost every day, run, I do yoga, you know, I'm really active, and I eat really healthy, pescatarian, I don't drink. So for me to get that call, definitely started, it was like a week of just an emotional roller coaster, that's the best way I can put it. My husband and I were just both going through this whirlwinds of ups and downs, and fear and anxiety and just shock and confusion and anger. I really started getting angry about like every little thing in my life that I was upset about suddenly just seemed magnified, and I got to just, you know, I was all over the place. The type of cancer I have is invasive ductal carcinoma. It's hormone positive, which means it responds to estrogen and progesterone in my body. So after, granted, I get through this in good health, radio and chemo, I will have to take tamoxifen, which is a hormone suppressant, basically, or estrogen suppressant, for 5 years, which basically forces me into a kind of early menopause, which is extra awesome. But anyway, that's a long way off. So HER2 negative, if you know what that means. They did a genetic test on me, I'm BRCA negative, which is about, slightly better prognosis. But as you quickly learn that there's so many different types of breast cancer in terms of the age and the lifestyle and the other risk factors in their body and genetics, and everybody's story is really different. And I do want to just first say, before I continue any further, I'm just speaking for myself here and how my experience has been, but there's so many different types of experiences, and every woman, I think, goes through this differently and has a slightly unique case, even though we all share a lot of similarities for sure. There's definitely, it's kind of like grief, we all kind of deal with it in different ways. So my husband has been amazing. I would just say that from right off the bat. My husband Ron has been like my superhero. I mean, he's always been, but like, man, we've definitely, that's one thing I will say as like a positive, which sounds silly to say, but over the last month or so, it's definitely already brought us so much closer, just talking about death and talking about me being afraid of going bald, losing my hair, and looking like a skeleton, and going through chemotherapy with a port in my chest for who knows how long. So he's been incredible, and so is my family as well. My family has been absolutely amazing, coming to see me and call and email and text and just staying in touch, and friends. And so I thank you for everybody who's, thank you doesn't cut it, but it's like really means a lot to get cards and to get love from everybody, so thank you. So after that first week, again, was really a roller coaster, but exercise and nature has always been a big healer for me. So what did I keep doing? I kept riding my bike. I kept going. outside, I kept working in my garden, I stayed busy, because basically, in my opinion, I was no different from how I was the day before. I just knew new information. Of course, there's a lot of doctor's appointments you have to start going to get everything scheduled. And on February 26th, on Ash Wednesday, coincidentally, I'm not religious or anything, but on that Ash Wednesday, I had my surgery, which was a bilateral mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, which means they were able to save most of my skin and my nipples so far. They could still later go, so I'm not getting too attached to them, but they're here, and I will tell you, it made a huge difference to look down and see them after surgery. I didn't really realize what a big difference would make until I saw them. There's expanders, and those expanders are temporary placements for breast implants, which will likely go in after my radiation and chemotherapy. Should all that get done well, right? Because everything I really realized you got to take just day by day. It's like, I don't know, it's like everything's kind of up in the air. But I want to talk a little bit about the surgery recovery, because for me that was a really kind of intimidating first step. Was like, oh my God, I'm going to go under. They're taking all my lymph nodes. I'm going to be healing. It's going to hurt. And I was like, really scared. The drains, I'd heard so much about these nasty drains which are attached to you, so I was not looking forward to it. But at the same time, it was 3 weeks after I was diagnosed that I went in for surgery. I was really ready to get in for surgery by the time it happened. I was definitely like, all right, let's do this, let's go. Like, I can't just sit around here with this tumor in me anymore. Like, I'm enjoying the time off and like having bike ride time and like all that, but I'm ready to get in. So I did take a leave of absence, by the way, from my work through the end of the school year, so I can just focus on this, of course. So anyway, it's been 15 days since my surgery, and I'm recovering pretty well. And I say that just with respect for every woman out there going through this, and knowing everybody responds in different ways to stuff. For me personally, my biggest help so far has been nature, of course. It's always been. Being outside is my home. It's where I need to be. And it's really helped getting through the day-to-day part of feeling kind of claustrophobic with these drains coming out, one of each side, to drain the fluid from your breasts or boobs or whatever you want to call them. The first day, of course, from surgery, I was able to go home that same day, which was great. I was under about 5 hours. They took 33 lymph nodes from my left armpit. 3 of them had cancer. My tumor was a 44 millimeter sized tumor, so it's about 4.5 centimeters, which is a pretty decent size. And I just slept. I got to go home the same day, which was very nice. They told me I was going to have to spend the night, so I was kind of surprised they didn't. A special plastic surgeon was there to do a new procedure to try to reduce lymphedema risk. Lymphedema is like a chronic swelling you can get after they take your lymph nodes. And so far I haven't got it, but you can get it anytime after you have a surgery like that takes out your lymph nodes. So it's something I'll have to look out for the rest of my life. So little stretches like this is all part of the physical therapy, and just trying to move. My arm motion is pretty good. As you can see, I can go kind of up, but I can't go reach. It's this under the arm right here. It's tight. That's about as much as I can do. I did have kind of an anesthesia hangover the day after surgery, which sucked. I threw up and I just felt really terrible and gross. And then they told me to take gabapentin, which is like a nerve pain medicine. It's an anticonvulsant. They told me to take 1 pill a day for 7 days, and I'm not a pill taker usually. I do maybe ibuprofen if I have menstrual cramps or something occasionally, but I didn't want to take it. But for something like this, I was like, okay, this is probably a time I want to get some nerve pain help. So I started taking that pill, 1 pill a day. And then they gave me Norco, which, as you know, is like a Vicodin, and it's an opiate. Obviously, it's scary. But I did take 1 pill in the evening with that gabapentin just to help with the tightness. It was so tight in my chest. It felt like my chest was about to explode out of my expanders. Like, it just felt like they were like, oh, and my shoulders were tight, and just my neck was sore, and everything just felt really tight. But on the third day, or the second day actually, sorry, I had surgery on Wednesday the 26th. By that Friday the 28th, I was like overslept. I woke up that morning early. I went for a short walk, and it was something I just really eased into very slowly, but it felt amazing, and it just like really felt good to stretch out my leg, get moving. So after that Friday, things kind of took a turn in terms of moving. I realized I could still walk, and I could still go outside, and I could still do quite a bit, and that really saved me from feeling like, you know, I anticipated myself just sitting around the house, just like watching TV and reading and like, you know, but I was able to still go hike and still go outside, and for me that just like totally makes me happy. It's like where I need to be right now, like watching the sunset, just being here. It's like this is my saving grace. So each day I've just been really trying to like stay distracted, because I mean, it sucks. There's no getting around it. I'm not going to sugarcoat all this. It's not like a cakewalk. You know, I sit here saying like nature's a healer, and it is, but it doesn't take away that cancer sucks, and that the situation sucks, and it's scary, and yeah, I think I might die, and it's like, yeah, that sucks. But what am I going to do about it on a daily basis? You know, somebody said to me when I was first diagnosed, something really stuck with me was, you're going to need to learn to control your mind. And I remember thinking at the time, like, I feel pretty like stable, and I'm pretty good about like maintaining like, you know, good state of mind or whatever. But I totally get it now, because there's times where you get anxious thinking about the future and what's going to happen, and literally thinking about dying, and how real it gets when you get that diagnosis. You know, I hate to analogize it to this, but it's kind of like having kids. You know, I don't have children, but everybody always said to me, you don't know what it's like to have kids until you have kids. You'll never know what it's like. And I feel like it's kind of the same with cancer a little bit. It's like, you really don't know what it's like until you get diagnosed. So even though I knew it was going to be hard, it's definitely sends you into some new places in your mind that you've never been, at least for me. Reevaluating my life, and kind of feeling just like it makes you think about everything that you're not totally happy about too. Like, so it just really brings a lot into focus. And yet it also brings into focus everything that you're super grateful for, that you're super happy for. Like all of a sudden, the littlest thing, like just walking down to get the newspaper from my mailbox at the end of the lane was like, good morning, I'm awake, I can hear the birds singing. You know, it felt really liberating. So, the drains come out tomorrow. Let's get to that. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th. And I get them out. It'll be 16 days since surgery that I have them in. They don't hurt themselves. They're just really annoying. You have these plastic tubes with a silicone bulb, and you have to like wear this special camisole tank top that like holds them in place, and you have to milk them and clean them and drain them every day. And you can't sleep on your side. I'm mostly a back sleeper anyway, but like you've got to like lie on your back, and just it gets kind of old. Like you feel like your body's not totally yours in a way. So even though I've been hiking a lot and busy and trying to stay like outside my head as much as I can, these things are still annoying. And you know, it's like, yeah, it's not sexy, it doesn't make you feel good, none of it. So I'm really excited to get them out. I thought I was getting them out on Monday, March 9th, and I went in and I was just like super excited, and they said, no, we're going to leave them in a few more days. Super disappointed, but I understand, of course, they know what they're talking about, they're the experts. They said that the risk of infection, they've noticed in the last couple of years, they used to take them out earlier, and then the women would get infections, and then sometimes their implants or expanders would be rejected from the infection. So they realized, or she says, it's better to just keep them in a little bit longer. And so, you know, it is what it is. I just feel like I'm a really positive person as it is. I'm pretty like, you know, cup half full kind of thing and all that, but it's definitely a test of patience, this whole thing. Like I'm a real patient person, but this makes you patient in a different way, you know, when you're waiting for your surgery date going like, God, you know, the doctors forget about me, like when are they gonna get on this? And you're just like, you know, there's a lot of waiting and there's a lot of unknowns. Tomorrow I meet with my oncologist, who's gonna go over my treatment timeline for radiation, which is coming next. They said I'm probably gonna have to do 5 weeks, but I don't know all the details yet. And then chemotherapy is gonna be after that. They're doing a genomic sequencing on it right now on the tumor to see exactly which chemotherapy drugs will work best for my cancer. So tomorrow I am meeting with my oncologist as well as my plastic surgeon. I'm going to find out a little bit more information. I do know my Nottingham grade score is a 9 out of 9, which sucks. That means my tumor is considered to be aggressive. And yeah, it's just crazy, this whole thing, because it's like cancer arrives as like a shadow or this like rain-soaked cloud that's like dark and ominous, and it just kind of parks itself on your shoulder, and like it doesn't keep you from seeing the beautiful world that's still in front of you and like what's ahead and light and all that, but like it's there, and it makes you like, you have to, like, I keep talking about going outside, because for me, like, being diagnosed, getting the surgery, knowing I was gonna have these drains in for a couple weeks, it was like, gosh, you're like kind of in body jail a little bit, and I didn't want to feel like I was in body jail. And again, back to controlling the mind, it's like, no, I can look at it that way, or I can be like, let's get outside of myself, and let's get into all this amazing stuff that's going on in the world around me and focus on that, and like reading or going to the beach or going hiking and working in the garden, just like trying to like talking to people, just trying to like get outside of myself, basically. The world is obviously such an interesting place, and there's so much going on, so that's just really helped me to like, you know, get through the daily part of this, just staying busy. Definitely had a little insomnia, of course. You know, I've been staying up late till like 1 or 2 in the morning most nights, and you know, I mean, it hasn't been a total cakewalk, again, like I say, but it hasn't been that bad either. I hate to say it like that again, if for other women or people, you know, it was a nightmare. You know, it's, everybody has a different, but for me, I will say about the pain medication, back to that, I stopped the gabapentin after 7 days, and I stopped the Norco after 5 days, and again, there's just 1 pill per day from each. But that first night after being off of it, I had like total withdrawals. I could not sleep. It was the worst insomnia. Like, I was up until like sunrise, just like jacked. And I was like, I don't ever want to feel that way again. Like, I'm not a pill person again. And I was just like, after that, I was like, I don't care how much this hurts, I'm not doing it. I will say though, what happened the next day and the next day after that is nerve pain did come on, and it is pretty intense. It feels like somebody's like stabbing you in the chest all of a sudden with a knife, and then it goes away, and you're like, all right, I'm good. And then it kind of comes back like a branding iron or like an electric shock. But the last couple of days I haven't had any, so I'm just kind of like, and they do say it can go on for months or years. So now that I know what it is, it's not so shocking, but when it first happened, it was pretty scary. But it's not so bad because it doesn't persist. Once it goes on, I mean, it's like a 7 of pain about, but it goes away, and then it kind of, you know, comes and goes. So it's been okay for the last few days. Mostly I'm just trying to work on range of motion and just keeping my hula arms going, so to speak. This is the anti-lymphedema motions. All kinds of things to just keep moving, and just trying to stay busy. Again, the world is such a beautiful place, and I feel like it's just really helped me to try to focus. The less I focus on me and more on what's going on around me, it's just really helped. So here I am, again, 15 days since surgery, been jabbering here. Sun has gone down. It feels nice to feel the ocean mist. It's a super healing thing. I cannot wait to get these drains out, though. I tell you, it's just to get my body back a little bit and be able to lie on my side when I go to sleep. That's going to feel really great. But yeah, it's only the start of the journey. There's still so long to go. But I've made it this far. So thank you for listening, and